Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of the Rush Hour podcast. We have a very busy day again for you today regarding Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively as the subpoenas are rolling in. This morning on the Rush Hour podcast, we discussed that Blake Lively is trying to get phone records from AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, not Mint Mobile. It's all part of the It Ends With Us battle. It's called Discovery, where they share all of the information that may prove her case, and also Justin will seek information that will prove his. The only problem is that Justin's side is now responding saying, hey, this isn't right. They just want blanket call logs of everything that went down. They'll use this to smear my client. So I'm going to share what Justin Baldoni had to say, but let's just do a quick refresher of the subpoenas, and then we've got our lawyer friend explaining why they think this is all just PR. So, sending out a series of subpoenas to cell carriers, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon, as well as alleged social media manipulator Jed Wallace, the Gossip Girl vet, and Ryan Reynolds want to get a look at the real receipts, to cite Baldoni and his main lawyer, Brian Friedman's assertion of transparency. So they're kind of using Brian Friedman's transparency against him. Oh, you want transparency? Okay, well, why don't you just show us everything you got? And it's like, well, okay, hold on a second. There are things that Justin Baldoni may have said that would be perfectly legal that have nothing to do with this court case that they might not want out there. Again, I don't have any information. I'm just saying there's a reason why you don't just hand over everything. But the judge will probably decide what exactly they can use. Here's what Blake Lively's side had to say, and then coming up next, I'll share what Justin Baldoni's side says. Blake Lively's side says, Miss Lively has initiated discovery that will expose the people, tactics, and methods that have worked to destroy and bury her reputation and family over the past year. Attorneys Ezra Hudson and Michael Gottlieb said Wednesday as the search for phone records flew out the door. Subpoenas went out to the entities below, the duo added of the telecoms Wallace AOL and Cloudflare. We will now receive all of the receipts that, unsurprisingly, are nowhere to be found on Mr. Friedman's website. And like Miss Lively, those receipts will have their day in court. So they're starting to get a little bit of PR here after letting Brian Friedman just run with it. Baldoni's team are taking the subpoenas in stride. Here's what they had to say. Subpoenas are an ordinary part of the litigation process, said Brian Friedman later Wednesday. What is extraordinary is what the Lively parties are seeking, the Hollywood litigator continued. They are asking for every single call, text, data log, and even real-time location information for the past 2.5 years, regardless of the sender, recipient, or subject matter. This massive phishing expedition demonstrates that they are desperately seeking any factual basis for their provable false claims. They will find none. All right, so as a non-lawyer, my sort of explanation of what a phishing expedition is, it is kind of like sending the nets out there and hoping to catch something versus spear phishing or targeted phishing where you know what you're going after, you know where to find it. They're just saying, all right, we got this information from the scorned PR person, right? That's how they got the initial information for the New York Times article. They got the cell phone records from the scorned PR person who was able to access their former employee's cell phone. They held the cell phone hostage. They wouldn't give it back to her. And then that information made its way to Blake Lively. So what Blake Lively's team was able to think they had was enough information to prove a AstroTurf campaign. Justin Baldoni's side says, hey, honey, this is not what it looks like. This was us putting a defense together against your client. We never actually had to do this. People just didn't like Blake in the first place. And could that be true? Well, I've got several videos coming up that continue to show the game plan. One more clip from Forbes, this interview that we have yet to see, and several others, stories that I've got coming up, including the assistant director who has been speaking up against Blake Lively. So again, the more Blake's side says, oh, this is an AstroTurf smear campaign, the more real people come up. And look, there is a difference. Was there AstroTurfing done, or was Justin's side preparing a defense of his actions if he was accused of one of the worst things I guess you would be accused of, which is being inappropriate on set. Obviously, there could be worse accusations, but it would be a career ender. Also coming up, we're going to discuss how Blake Lively's clash with Justin Baldoni fatally compromised his career. An expert says he lost 3 jobs, millions of dollars since this lawsuit came about. So it's pretty serious out there. And as I've made the comparison earlier, if Justin Baldoni hires a crisis PR team, you could look at it in multiple ways. A, you could say he's guilty, or B, you could say he's preparing a defense against big forces. I've made the jiu-jitsu comparison. Someone who trains jiu-jitsu, in the most part, is doing it as self-defense, not to attack somebody. If you were taking jiu-jitsu classes, I can't just say you're harassing other people because you're learning how to throw a punch or block or whatever. And now Justin could make that same claim for his crisis PR. No, everything we did was just in self-defense in case we were attacked. So we'll have to see. But either way, is it a massive fishing expedition? Please let me know. Leave a comment. And let's listen to what our pal over here, not actually Golden, had to say. Here's her take on the subpoenas. She's been giving very measured responses. We love to hear it.
Okay, I hit post on this video right apparently when this article came out. I just looked at it. So this is just, I think this is PR. I think that they decided, let's go ahead and send some of these subpoenas out even though the complaints aren't finalized yet, because we want to be able to tell the rap or whoever that was that it was in that we're subpoenaing these phone records so we can get out to the public that these documents that Baldoni's relying on might not be the whole story.
Which is kind of like how Justin Baldoni's lawyer, Brian Friedman, said, we'll depose her tomorrow if we can. So it's like, yeah, obviously they're all going to subpoena for each other's records. Are they going to find anything interesting? What they might find is records of Justin actually being a good guy, which is what a lot of the evidence showed so far.
It could be a waste of their time and money. They could subpoena stuff and then the things that they're related to get dismissed by the court on Justin Baldoni's motion to dismiss. But if they did this, if they actually served these subpoenas, then they're doing it just so that they can tell us about it. You're not like prohibited from doing discovery, but it's usually not initiated this early because, again, you don't know what the complaints are. But I guess they've decided that it's worth it for them to do something a little bit out of line if they can then publish an article telling us that they're doing it, and we all go, ooh, I wonder what those records are going to say, right?
And what I think the mistake they're making is, I don't think audiences inherently will stick by Justin Baldoni no matter what. I think audiences believe Justin for the most part, 90+% people, because her side hasn't passed the sniff test and there's a lot of good intuition out there. If she finds the evidence that he's this bad guy and he did all these things and he admits to it and X, Y, and Z, I think people will be reasonable in their response. So again, it's going to be a long time before any of this comes out. But my guess is if they don't find anything, we're just going to not hear about it and it's going to kind of go away. But if they do find something, that maybe there'll be some leaks. Again, I don't think there'll be too much to find because Justin's pretty well trained media-wise as far as what correspondence we've seen him making. The worst of the correspondence is the PR companies. That's the worst of it. So I don't think Justin implicates himself in any way.
So I feel like this is PR again. Justin Baldoni, a couple other people commented, Justin Baldoni can still file a motion to dismiss. He's going to, that he told the court he's going to, but he can't file a motion to dismiss until Lively drops the amended complaint. If he filed a motion to dismiss against her current complaint, the minute she drops her amended complaint, the whole thing becomes moot, right? You can only file to dismiss the operative complaint, the one that's actually currently the complaint in the case. So I hope that helps. Sorry about that.
I'm confused. Legally, it's complicated, right? And by the way, I want to shout out the subreddit It Ends With Lawsuits. So they posted all of the content creators covering the case, and I made a joke that, oh, I'm only number 18. I was only kidding. I got a response saying, Dave, we're so sorry. And of course, I have to be careful that I hope no one is sending any hate to the moderators there. It is really tough to moderate subreddits. There's a lot of voices and egos and things like that. We're just happy to be on the list. The audience speaks for itself. We had 320,000 views yesterday, all long form, none of this short form nonsense. My silver play button comes in today for hitting 100,000 subscribers. So thank you guys all so much. But this one person sent me this, Dave, at number 18, there's something wrong with that number being so low on the totem pole. And so yeah, either way, that's not the case. They're not ranked. Everybody who's covering the case has a good angle and a good spin to it. Also, I got this message from one of my legal friends. Holy crap, that video of Blake at the Women's Summit is terrible for her. And I said, I've got an update, which I shared, and they said that was the worst part. Very unusual to deny an unopposed extension. This judge is not effing around. I love to see that. I love to see all of our legal experts give us opinions based on things that maybe a normal non-legal person wouldn't see. Like, I wouldn't know if what the judge is doing is like by the books or if they're feeling a certain way. And my legal friend over here says, nope, this judge isn't messing around. He's trying to get down to business. They're ready to go. And for all of us sort of folks watching this play out, that's a good thing. Let's go. Let's not mess around. Get the discovery done. Throw all of the money, because like these things can be so slow, but the more money they have, I think the faster it goes, right? It's like they're doing subpoenas. They got Nokia phones. They got Razor phones. Can you imagine looking for your Razor phone? Like, what are you going to find on there? I played 75 hours of Snake one day. I don't know. So I've got updates. So many updates. Hit the subscribe button. Right after this, I'm actually interviewing a psychologist from the UK. You might know who I'm talking about. And we'll have that either later today or tomorrow. It'll be a great conversation about what might be going on in Blake's head, which, again, we can't know for sure, but very interesting to discuss. All right, stick around. We'll be back with more right after this.